Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about courtroom etiquette. Many of you have written in to us and asked us to do certain videos, and we're going to encourage you to continue to do that on various topics. Again, this one is on courtroom etiquette, the do's and do nots. First of all, let's talk about the courtroom. The courtroom is a place that is very formal. It's a place where you really want to be not only on your best behavior, but in your best appearance. So let's take a look into what you should be doing on this particular day. The first thing you want to do is make sure you're on time. What does that mean? It means if court starts at 9, you want to make sure you're there a few minutes early. That way, if you have to talk to your attorney or there's any problems at, leaving the house with your vehicle, rush hour, what have you, you don't want to be late on your day at court. Now, this is true from everything from whether you've used lethal force all the way down to a parking ticket, okay? So all the principles still apply. First thing you're going to do is on your way to the court, make sure as you're driving in, you're just as calm, you don't have road rage, you don't cut anybody off, give someone the finger, etc., because you never know. I've seen this happen a couple of times where a couple of my clients have actually come to court and the judge will say, does anybody know any of these people? I had one juror raise his hand and say, yes, I know that person. He cut me off this morning and gave me the finger. Now, is this the kind of person or the type of image we want? Of course not. So again, once you walk out of that house, you've got to be on your best behavior and be conscious of everything you're doing. You get to the courthouse, your first thing you're probably going to have to do is go through security at most courthouses. Some courthouses allow you to bring cell phones in, others don't. Again, it just depends on that particular court. But as you go through security, again, you have to be respectful, okay? You're talking about whether it's the deputies, whether it's court security, whomever that's putting you through this, you have to make sure that everything you do is what they're asking. If they tell you to take off your belt, take off your belt. They tell you to take off your shoes, take off your shoes. That's not the time to argue because, again, you're going to set in motion some either very good things or some very bad things. And let me tell you a little behind the scenes situation here. Everybody in that courthouse who works there knows everyone else, and they have a tendency to talk. I actually had a client one time who got into it with someone at security, and they exchanged a few words, and guess what? The court security officer decided upon his own to go and have a conversation with the judge. And it made it very difficult later on when I'm trying to argue bond and other things about my guy being a great person because he turned to the officer and said, you just called this officer a name and you wouldn't follow the rules here. How do you expect me to believe that you're going to continue to follow the rules elsewhere? So again, as you go through every court personnel that you come across, be respectful, be courteous. So now the courtroom opens. Find out where you are. Check in with the clerk. Let them know you're there. Okay, it may be a long line, but hi, my name is John Doe. I'm here. I'm waiting on my attorney or my attorney's here. Make sure you check in. Now, think about this. Lots of different people have different thoughts on this. Here's my thought. Court is a place, it's very formal, very rigid. You want to walk in, not only your being, and when I say your being, how you're acting, the people are also judging you by the way you're dressing. So, think about this. I can walk in and I can have a shirt that says Free Terry across the top, or I'm not guilty. That's not going to go over too well in a formal setting. Make sure, if you're a gentleman, I highly recommend wearing a shirt with a collar, maybe a tie. Again, that's something you want to talk to your attorney about. Definitely no jeans. Wear a pair of slacks. No gym shoes. You want to show the judge that you have respect for this particular setting. Now, your attorney will tell you pretty much what to wear, and if they don't, ask them, hey, what do I need to show up in? When we're in trial, I tell my defendants. I want you to wear a dark color suit. I want you to wear this. And the one I love all the time is when people say, "Oh, I know what to wear." And my response is, "Why don't you tell me so I'm not surprised?" Because to some people, a formal suit is a lot different than the other. I had one guy, and this was the first and last time I ever did this. He actually showed up in a purple suit with a lime green shirt and a yellow tie. No one could take him seriously, and it actually. I said, "I thought you knew how to dress." "Oh, I do. This is my best suit." It's not your best suit that counts. It's the dark colors and other things that you're showing respect to the court for. Okay? So while you're in there, the judge normally has other things to do. I mean, think about it. They're not just opening up the court just for you. So you're going to have to probably sit there and wait your turn. And as you're waiting in the gallery, we'll call it, you're going to see other things going on. Be respectful, okay? Don't whisper and talk to the person next to you, because the judge who's sitting up there, believe it or not, is looking out. And again, they're making decisions about you without even knowing you. So imagine if you're whispering to the person next to you, or you're playing on your phone, if your phone's allowed in there. You're not taking anything serious, and the judge calls you up, okay, you and your attorney up, and you have no idea what's going on. Have you upset this judge and made it bad for yourself and others? You have to keep that in mind, because again, we're all people, and we unfortunately get emotional and act off of those things. When you're in front of the judge, if you're asked to speak, again, I'm assuming this is maybe along the lines of a traffic ticket or something along those lines, make sure you are very clear in your speaking. You want to speak up. You don't want to whisper like this where people barely hear you. You want to make sure you're speaking clearly, not yelling, but just speaking in a very firm tone voice, okay? As you do this, be respectful of the judge and the clerk. There is someone there in most courtrooms. They're either taking your testimony and they're typing, or maybe there's a video recording, but they're making a record of that. Don't be afraid, and make sure you speak not at a fast pace, but just a very natural pace. Always say, if you're addressing the judge, you may call him sir, your honor, judge. You don't want to say, "Hey, you." Huh? What did you say? You don't want to do that. Be very clear, be very formal. Again, this is a place of formality. If you have an attorney there, make sure you follow the advice of your attorney. That's what you're paying that attorney for. You don't want to argue with your attorney, especially at court, by saying, "I saw this on Law and Order, and this is what they did." Or, "I saw this on CSI, and this is how this turned out." Your lawyer is the expert in there. It's no different if you were having surgery. You wouldn't tell the doctor, "Well, I want you to, make an incision here, and then I want you to, take this bone out, and then sew me back with this kind of thread." You don't do that. Give your attorney the same respect. He or she knows exactly what they're doing. They've been in that courtroom probably more than you. You want to hope they've been in there more than you. And they know the etiquette, the rules, and the things that need to be followed to put you in the best possible light. Make sure if you have any questions, you're free to ask your attorney. And it's okay to say to the judge, "Your Honor, I need a moment with my attorney to discuss something." The judge will give you that, because again, everyone wants to make sure you understand what's going on. When it's all said and done, make sure you thank the judge, even if it's not exactly what you wanted. So let's say you have to walk out just paying a fine and you're upset about it. At least tell the judge, "Thank you, Your Honor." And again, be respectful, walk out with pride, and even if you have to go to the counter later, take care of all business and treat everyone with courtesy. If you follow these rules, these simple etiquette rules, and this advice, your day in court will go a lot better. I can't tell you how many times a judge has looked at someone who's come to court in torn up blue jeans or a sweatshirt, their hair not combed, etc. That does not tell the judge that they're taking this matter seriously. I've had clients who've actually shown up to court drunk, and they've been accused of drunk driving. What do you think the judge is going to say at that point? You've got to put yourself and your attorney in a very good spot to make sure that you're putting that best foot forward so that you can get the best representation possible. One other thing I want to make sure that everybody's understanding as it relates to when you go into court. Make sure, no matter what, that you're paying attention. And what do I mean paying attention? Maybe not just your case, but a lot of times the judge will make general announcements to everyone, and you'll go up and he'll say, remember I said this? And you're like, oh, I wasn't listening, Judge. Say it again. Again, that's not putting you in the best situation. Once you leave the court, you're free to do whatever you need to do. If you need to go in your car away from the courthouse and scream and holler, etc., in your car, do that. That's fine. But don't do it on the road because, again, as I stated earlier, other people have a tendency to see you. You never want to be back in front of that judge again and he remembers you. And that's the worst thing you can have is a judge that remembers you in the courtroom based upon the behavior or the dress or the lack of respect that you've had for, this judicial body. So with that, please be safe. Remember, be respectful, be courteous. For more information, please see us at firearmslegal.com.